to the cloud. I got you.
Perfect. Okay.
I found the button.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you give some examples or like an example of how to analyze a property and then just go through like how to set your settings accordingly, like if people want to customize it per their numbers versus your numbers, how to save those settings.
Yeah, definitely. So I can, so yeah, first of all, do you guys have markets you want me to look at? Like I could just quickly do a little analysis there. If you guys comment the market you want me to do, if you want me to do a particular market, I'm happy to do that. Austin, let's keep them going. Let's, any more markets we should do. I just know Cleveland, Georgia, Bentonville, Arkansas, Dallas, love me some Dallas, Indianapolis, Tampa, Fredericksburg, Washington. All right, we're gonna do, I don't know what Bentonville, Arkansas is. We're gonna do there. I'm doing it for the littler towns. That's what. So what I would do here. So this is what I would do is just go to Zillow, and this is just, whoop, sorry, I'm admitting people as I do this, but we're gonna go to Bentonville on Zillow, and we're gonna look for a house to buy. I'm just gonna, I haven't ever looked at Bentonville, so I'm not gonna say I know the best area of town to buy or anything like that, but let's look at this one.
I think you missed Bentonville. You're in Benton, Arkansas.
Oh, really?
Went past it.
Oh, sorry, Bentonville. So we're on Zillow right now, and why we use Zillow, I'll show you in a second. All right, we got Bentonville, got this 3-2 backyard, whatever. It looks like, you think we can work with this? I don't know, we can, it's a starting point. Maybe we'll look with somewhere with more inventory soon. But what's cool with BnBCalc is you can just click this share link here, go to it, do a buy to own analysis, go import from Zillow, and just paste it. Just paste it, and what it does is it auto populates the bedroom, bathroom, and sleep count. The issue with this one is it has it as a 3-2. Sometimes it's off a little bit, so you want to, like, most of the time it's right, but sometimes the bedrooms, bathrooms are off. And so once you plug in the purchase price, which I think was like $395, the bedrooms, bathrooms, because it actually uses the Zestimate for the purchase price, just FYI. Once you've got that in there, you can just click show earnings, and it's going to give you an AirDNA revenue estimate. For me, this is a starting point. Definitely do not rely on AirDNA, for this number. And what this number is made of, what the annual revenue is made of, is the occupancy percentage. So this is the percent of time of the year that guests are staying in the house. So if it's 53% of the year, that's 194 days. And then the average daily rate is how much they're spending on night. This is, AirDNA has it inclusive of the cleaning fee, because people always ask, like, what about the cleaning fee? The way AirDNA has it, it's inclusive. The way some of these other data providers have it, it's not. So that being said, it's projecting 39,296. If myself or if Sarah and Emily were doing this house, it would do a lot better than 39,296. We would finesse it. We would make it look like that, that beach house or I just showed you. We would make it look really cool, and it would ball out. But for sakes of this, let's just say this is a real, we're just going to keep it there. Actually, no, I'm going to make it more fun. We would be occupied 65% of the time, and we would do $250 a night. Let's get these numbers a little greener. So that being said, that's the revenue again. It's that average daily rate times the occupancy percentage. Then we have our operating expenses. So this is the default, which the way we came up with these defaults is this is just average US. So like the average US home is $100 for internet and TV. I personally do not provide TV. We provide internet at our properties, but again, we're just using averages. So if the average US home does it, we're just gonna do it. Water and sewer, garbage, electricity, gas, and then we allow space for other, which other could be, that could be pool service. That could be, that could be anything. Actually, that would probably fall under maintenance. So, maintenance, property insurance, homeowners association, if you have one, sometimes you don't. We don't really buy properties in HOAs unless we have to. Landscaping, all these ongoing repairs. So essentially these are the really common items that all properties, you should get insurance for. You should have landscaping unless it's a condo or something. And then software. So this is where you put in, if you're using Price Labs, it's like $18 a month, and Hospitables, maybe $20. So this is where you would put that in. And then if you had any other things that kind of the catch-all, you'd put it in here. Also, you can put in what your projection is for cleaning costs. Again, that AirDNA number, that average daily rate for them includes cleaning. So you got to make sure to have that cleaning as an expense. Also, you have to have Airbnb as an expense. If you're only using Airbnb, they do charge 3%. So if that's the case, you need to include that here. If you're going off market completely somehow, then you can take it away. But Airbnb and Vrbo are about 3% for the most part. Here, if you have a property manager, you can put in the property management fee. So let's say it's 20%. Bang, look at all your profit. It just went away. So you can put in property managers, see how much you're paying the property manager. Right now it's per month, but you can break this investment into, monthly, how much, what the P&L is each month, what it's looking like each year, what it's looking like over 5 years. So it's pretty versatile, and you can change anything you want. And if you guys have any questions, or I need to slow down if I'm going too fast on anything, let me know. But let's just get this back here. So again, that revenue is from AirDNA. We could probably do an entire class on just how to come up with that revenue number as accurately as possible. To be frank, a lot of the times with Airbnb, you just got to set something up cool and kind of hope that it works. And to be honest, that's kind of how it works. Like, you make a property look really, really cool, and you respond to guest messages and you clean it well. Well, I wouldn't recommend you cleaning it, but you get my point. You do that, and then that number magically goes up. But when we're underwriting the deal, there's definitely ways of finding this number. But the mortgage and tax, this is a number you can calculate. This right here, the operating expenses, that's a number you can really calculate with pretty definitive. If a place has an HOA, you put in the HOA. If it doesn't, you don't. So it's definitely on you guys to try to make these numbers, as accurate as possible. Ask the homeowner to provide, projections on how much their utilities are. Ask them to provide utility bills. They can do that. They can send you their utility bills. You can always ask. So get a full idea of the expenses. That's super important to know what they're going to be. Does it use gas? Does it not use gas? If there's no gas needed, then it goes away. It's zero. You catch my drift. This is a super important part. So, we have our revenue, we subtract the expenses, utilities, cleaning, that gives us our operating income. Then after that, we have our mortgage and taxes. So, a lot of Airbnb investors do second home loans. That's like the most common loan for a short-term rental investor. And that's why we have it as our default. We have the default interest rate in here, which is right now we have the default interest rate at about 6%, because that's around what it is right now, which is actually a lot lower than it was 2 months ago. So good time potentially to buy a house. So here you can put in, you have your purchase price, you put in your down payment, and you can see in cash what your initial down payment on the home is going to be, as well as the amount that you're going to need to get financed, which is the loan amount. You can put in how long of a loan. Most commonly, people do 30-year loans. I have personally done 20-year loans too. So you can put those in there, and then you plug in your interest rate. You can also, and I'll show you guys how to create your own presets, which is what's really cool. Let's say your interest rate is 5%. You can then create a preset with your specific situation and then put it in and then save it as the default. So I'll do that in a second. I'll show you guys how to set presets, which is what's really helpful, because you're customizing the software for your specific situation. And it pulls. So again, we ran a 30-year loan, 6% interest rate. We see our monthly payment. And then what we can do is our property tax. And this actually pulls straight from, it figures out what the Benton County, I don't know if that's a typo. Benton County's property tax is 0.99% per year. So based off that, we're buying it for 300 and something. This is like what the city records or county records have it at. I would definitely cross-reference because that's being pulled from an API, and like that data is not always correct. So if you have a more accurate number for what the property tax is on an annual basis, come in here and plug it in. You're welcome to just put in, if you figure out it's actually $500, put in 500. Also PMI, sometimes if you go under, right now we're at 20%, so it doesn't have PMI in there. If we go to, let's go to like 10, it'll automatically put in PMI, because if you're under 20% on a loan and it's conventional financing, you have to pay by law or by US guidelines, you have to pay PMI, which is mortgage insurance. So generally it's about 4.5%, but again, yours might be more, it might be less. And what you can do is, put in what's right. So let's say 0.7. Again, just, kind of playing around here, but just want to show you guys how you change things around. So after that, now we have a full, and this is known as like our top line and our bottom line. So we have our top line revenue and we have our bottom line cash flow. Then we have automatic charting software. So I can go in here and see how the investment, and guys, this is really the true, and I think this shows what's like the true value of real estate is it's not just that cash flow. Like the cash flow is literally the tip of the iceberg. And if you look at the deals that myself and Sarah and Emily do, like that blue part is really, really big. But even if you don't get that blue part, there's all these other benefits too. Generally real estate goes up in value. So it's that if let's say it goes up 3% a year, exponential growth from that. Principal pay down. Every month you're paying down the mortgage. So, just the mortgage itself, year 3, year 5, year 10, you're making big gains. So we like to show all of the benefits. The one benefit we don't show is the tax benefit. There's also huge tax benefits to owning real estate. It's hard. That thing is it's case by case. So it's different for every person. That's the only reason we can't include it here, because, me and Sarah and Emily, like, we might buy the same house and have it affect our tax situation differently. But that's also another benefit. So we like to show all the benefits of owning real estate. Also, like inflation, happens. It generally happens for rentals too. Houses generally go up in value. The amount you make year 1, you generally make more year 2. Sometimes, the last year, home prices as well as the market itself are definitely, they're in flux. The last few years have been a freaking roller coaster. But that being said, if you want to take it away, you can take it away. Bang. The home prices aren't going up now and there's no appreciation. I would say on average, you're going to get 5% is like historical averages, but we try to be conservative and keep it at 3%. And we're actually going to break apart the purchase price appreciation and revenue appreciation. So you could say the home goes up in value, but then you don't get any appreciating revenue. We just allow the user to decide for themselves how they want to do that. So we, again, down here, we can see our cash on cash return, our cap rate, which this is an equation that investors use to, like a lot of commercial investors use. So, like institutions use to calculate an investment and compare one to another one. This is a return on investment. The ROI, some people, include different things. Like if I do a renovation to a house, let's say I put 50 grand into it, I would include that. I would say I made the house 50 grand more valuable. But that's up to, that's up to the investor. Some think that that's something they should include in their investment underwriting. Some don't, which is why, again, we allow users to pick, select for themselves. So then at the bottom here, we have our cash investment summary. I know Sarah, when she comes in here, she's going to put in, 40,000 here and then use this cost per square foot, probably go all the way up to luxury. Is that right? Would you do $20 a square foot? Or what would your square or cost per square foot be?
We're usually with furniture and renovations, we're around $35 a square foot now.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna do $35 a square foot, and we're gonna put that down. So we can put that down to 0, right?
Mhm.
Gotcha. And this, it auto populates the square footage, which is one of the cool features. So it really auto populates as much information as it possibly can, and allows you to about as, I don't know of a quicker way to run the numbers or a more efficient way. So it is the quickest, most efficient way to do pro forma financial analysis on a property. And then also, let's say Emily finds this deal and is like, oh my gosh, Sarah, like this is a home run. Bang, she can, instead of being like, hey, hop on a Zoom with me for me to show you, we got AK in the house. She can go, bang, copy this right here, and let's do it. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to, what we could do is email, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the stop share, the chat. Sorry, I have everyone in the meeting. Bang, I just messaged it to you guys all, and I want you guys to click it and see what happens. Because the point is, it's supposed to show you what I just did on my screen. It's supposed to automatically do it on your screen. So I just clicked it on my end. Let me share my screen. Whoop. All right, so what I'm back to I guess I can't look at the Zoom when I'm sharing my screen. All right, I'm gonna share this to myself. So I just copied the share link. I'm gonna open a new incognito window. Whoop, I don't know what that is. New incognito window. Bang, and then wowza, it just popped up for me. I didn't have to email you a spreadsheet. I didn't have to Zoom, say, hey, hop on Zoom. I mean, okay, technically I am on Zoom right now, but you get my point. I could have just texted you or emailed you that share link and it would have gone to you guys. Or I put it in the chat here. Did anyone, and I'm on incognito, so it's going to ask you to, log in and make your own account if you want to do this yourself. If you guys are there, definitely do that. But yeah, that's it for buying. And then I can just show you guys kind of the quick. Well, it worked. Let's go. Did it work for everybody? Because if it didn't, I got to fix it. All right. Well, so then when you get to the point that you have a lot of these things when you're on Zoom, oh, I'm in the wrong one. This is what your dashboard is going to look like. You're going to have 400 in here, 300 buy to own, 117 arbitrage. Maybe you want to look at them as a list. Maybe you want to delete some. Maybe you want to share some. So I could delete, Bethel, Memphis if I want to, or I could go to a map and I could visualize, which is cool. I think this is one of the cool features is you can visualize. So right now we're on rental arbitrage because I don't know if you guys are familiar with rental arbitrage, but that's one of the Airbnb strategies. And it's one I know we 3 of us do as well. And then what we can do is go to, buy to own, and I can compare. I can say, all right, looks like I'm losing money. And, every time I run the money in the Northeast, I lose 37% in the Northeast. But, in Michigan over here, I'm making 16.26% or 27.27%. These are probably on lakes that you guys are at where I ran numbers, honestly. It looks like in the Bourbon Trail, I'm making money. So that's what's cool. The map feature is that you can kind of like create a heat map of the different areas and compare that way. Also, you can look at, the amount of cash I'm going to need. How much cash am I going to need for different properties? You can just play with everything and really visualize it, which I think is one of the cool features. As well as, again, we can do rental arbitrage. So it's going to be the same thing. The only difference is going to be the rent. Also, if you want to just come in here and change our preset. So that's what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to show you guys how to set a preset. You can set a preset for the mortgage. You can set a preset for anything. Let's say we just did the Sarah preset for design. So Sarah's my designer. And so I'm going to put her Sarah Designs as my preset. And I'm going into here and I'm setting the cost per square foot at 30, what'd you say, $35? bang. I just saved the cost per square foot as 35 bucks a square foot. Maybe, and that, you know, that includes renovation, so I don't need to do that. Now, anytime I run the numbers on a place, so let's say I do a new little buy to own right here. All right, where are we looking, guys? Where are some of the other places you guys wanted me to run the numbers on? It would be great if you could short the revenue projections by STR, MTR, LTR. We're doing STR and MTRs. We're none of this LTR stuff, not on BnBCalc. That's why I've heard of Bentonville. It's Walmart. Sam Walton. Indianapolis. We're doing Indianapolis. I met someone this past weekend who invests in Indianapolis. So we're gonna do that. Go to Zillow. Go to Indy. Someone else is trying to join. See, I'm multitasking here.
Yeah, you're crushing it.
All right, this house here, just totally random. You know, would obviously want to do more research than just copy and pasting a Zillow link, but again, it's a start. Import from Zillow, just paste it in. Again, it populates that Zestimate, beds, baths. This is a 4-3. I guess they added a couple. And sleeps 12. We just have it at 3 per bedroom. You guys can change that. You know, that's kind of what I do personally, is like I do about that ratio. But some people, you know, some people stack less people in a house than others. I pack them like sardines personally. That one I showed you guys was a 4-bedroom. How many do you think it sleeps? It sleeps 12. I don't know if that was a rhetorical question or not. Sorry, I answered it. So this house, it's saying revenue of 54 G's, which, you know, compared to a 259 purchase price, I could already tell you this is going to look pretty good. But then I just want to go down to the, oh, I didn't. So I set, when you set a default, you have to set arbitrage default for arbitrage and buy for buy. I just realized I did an arbitrage default and I did it for, now I'm in buy. Well, let's just I'm just gonna do this again because I just messed up the point. But I'm gonna make a create new preset. This is just gonna be for like the utility. I'll do it for the mortgage. I feel like that's a pretty good one to do. I just got pre-approval for, you know, a second home loan at about 6.5% down. Honestly, it's too similar to this, so I'm gonna just make up a new situation. But I'm gonna create a new preset, call it, you know, investment loan. The down payment for this investment loan will have to be 20%, and the mortgage is going to be 7% mortgage. So I just saved. Did I spell something wrong? If I did, and I'm going to set this as my default. So bang, just set investment loan as my default. So now what I can do, I'm just going to do this same house again. Make it a 4-3. Click show earnings. And bang, this should be investment loan. You see, so it changed to an investment loan. Again, you're totally welcome to put whatever defaults you guys want to create. That's totally up to you. That's why we give you the option, because we don't want to, we know everybody's different and everybody has different financing. Everybody has different utility. I mean, you know, different areas, like in New York City where I live, they're going to charge an arm and a leg for the power bill. But in North Carolina, where I'm from, power is a lot less expensive. So I think I've just ran through it mostly all. You guys think I'm missing anything or anything I should touch on?
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing. I need to go in there and set all my own presets because I'm like currently manually doing it all every single time.
Honestly, I do a lot too. Like it's easy enough to do, just change it each time.
Yeah. I think one thing to mention, well, actually two things to mention that I get asked a lot about BnBCalc from mentees or people on social media is whether they should use AirDNA or BnBCalc. And I think there's confusion, like they're interchangeable. And so we always explain to people that they're not, but do you kind of want to explain why you, like if you are running an analysis on both or as a whole in depth, why you would need both and how they kind of complement each other?
Yeah, totally. So let me kind of get into what really AirDNA is helpful for. Like AirDNA is not going to tell you it's not going to have you calculate your utilities, your maintenance. AirDNA is not going to allow you to put in like a management fee. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to add this
Also,
person here.
Laura, I was gonna say, Laura, will you mute yourself? We keep hearing you in the background.
Oh.
I messaged her, but I didn't, or maybe you can mute her manually.
Yeah, I can do that. I muted her and I'm admitting Katie.
Perfect.
I'm really multitasking here. Wow.
For us.
But yeah, so AirDNA, what they're good for is coming up with this top line revenue estimate. The way they're good, and I can show you why AirDNA or kind of how to use AirDNA to really find this. So this is AirDNA's rentalizer tool, which the way it calculates things is you give it a number of bedrooms and bathrooms, so beds, baths, and the sleep count, and it pulls this number based off the comps with the same bed, bath, sleep count. They don't pull the comps and say, oh, does house 1 have a pool and house 2 doesn't have a pool? They don't pull the comps and say house 1 is lakefront, house 2 is not lakefront. It's not able to do that. So what I do and what I recommend other people to do is there's 2 ways of going about it. One, the way AirDNA does it is they look at Airbnb. So you could just you could bypass AirDNA and just go straight to Airbnb, and you can say, all right, does this house look like a 50th percentile listing? If it is, if you think it's 50th percent, then this number's, it's probably pretty close to here. If you say, oh, all these houses on Airbnb in the area look like Taj Mahals, like again, look up all the other 4.3s. So if we're going to do that for here, I'm going to show you guys the free Airbnb method of doing this, and then I'll show you the paid AirDNA method. So if you go to Airbnb itself, what you'd want to do is you'd want to go 4 beds, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and admit this person. And I'm going to say, all right, do the places around here look nicer, not as nice? All right, this one's a shipping container house. That is baller. All right. Sorry, 133 North College Avenue. You're not as cool as this shipping container house. However, this one right here, I feel like it could probably be pretty similar to this one. This one here. This is a duplex. Yeah, it doesn't look, I feel like we could finesse it and make it not too far off that. So this way you're just kind of comparing. And the way I would do that is I would literally make a list of all the 4.3s, draw like a circle, make sure you have like the 20 closest 4.3s, and put yours literally as the percentage in there. Say this is 90th percent, or this is like 50th or 20th, like put it in there. If you're, not near that 50th, then you're probably, that number is probably bogus for you. And what you can do is then go to AirDNA. We're in AirDNA. So I use BnBCalc, and I have an annual super expensive subscription to AirDNA. So what you can do with that is now I can plug this in. It literally did the same thing where it made it a 4.1. We're going to make it a 4.3. Put it up to, again, we're putting 3 people per bedroom. And bang, you see how it literally just did that. I was going to say it found the shipping container house. What are with these houses in whatever Indianapolis? They look so freaking cool.
India is pretty cool.
Apparently, but yeah, we look at these and we say, damn, honestly, they're doing a pretty good job in Indiana. Like, they don't look as bad as I would assume Indiana houses to look. But maybe this one's closer to downtown. Is that something that it has going for it? This one here, this one's 55. So essentially this revenue number, you're just trying to look at the comps and say, all right, this one's pulling in 55. It's supposed to, we're not going to give away our cookies. Sorry. There's you can watch whole videos on just AirDNA itself and what everything means. What you're supposed to look at is this days available metric, because it's only available 180 days and it's doing 38 in revenue. You can't really, it's hard to tell, it's it's projecting I'll make 55K a year. Well, like, what if that 180 days are in the summer? So I like things where it's like days available or like the full year personally. If not, it's just like the data is not that good in my opinion. So here the data, it's almost available the full year. It's saying 42.2. And honestly, it looks pretty nice. So if you just want to find a couple comps and base that revenue estimate off the comps. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I think that's where people get confused is they just take the BnBCalc estimate at face value, but forget that they need to do a deeper dive because it doesn't account for amenities, design, photography, location, all of those things. So it really does require you to have both to get a really good idea on what you're going to make.
yeah, or it assumes you're average. So are you average? If you are average, then it's good for you. Or are you extraordinary? That is the question to ask yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's not one or the other. It's not like one in lieu of the other. It's both work really well together. You don't need AirDNA. You can do it on Airbnb. It just takes longer, which is fine, right? I mean, if you're not.
I don't mean to cut you off. I would say if you're going to buy a house though, like if you're going to make a huge investment decision, pay whatever, $50 for AirDNA. Like you're going to want as much data as possible. Just like if you're going to make a huge investment decision, don't cheap out on like a small little component of that.
Yeah, and you don't need the massive AirDNA, subscription that we have where you can look at any area, any point in time. I mean, you can buy one city's AirDNA data for significantly less. So if you've honed in on the area that you want to buy in, I would go ahead and buy that AirDNA info because it's going to give you such a closer idea or a more apples to apples comparison of what you can make so that what you type into BnBCalc is super accurate to your listing specifically instead of to the market as a whole.
Exactly. And guys, again, AirDNA is only that top number, that revenue. AirDNA is not telling you, and first of all, I'm not telling you, what your electric bill is. Like, does the house have solar panels? If it does, maybe your electric bill is like nothing. I don't know how good solar panels are at this point, but I would assume that would make your electric go down. So that's something you're gonna have to find out for yourself. And like, there's no way to like put that in AirDNA. This is like BnBCalc is like a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet on steroids.
Do you want to show them what it was replacing? Because I feel like, when you released this, for me, using an Excel file or a pro forma, I was like, holy cow, this is so necessary. But maybe for some, newer investors or people who haven't had exposure to a pro forma previously, that'll help them understand why this is so much more convenient than what we were doing previously or what everyone was doing previously.
Let's do it. And admittedly, I have not actually looked at my spreadsheets for a really long time because of this. So let's do it. I'm gonna find one. I'm actually curious to see what my underwriting was for this house. So this is a house I actually bought in 2022. I actually don't even have Excel now, which is funny. Like I like didn't even re-sign Excel. So I might have to drive this over to a Google Drive. So like I can read in Excel, but it won't let me write anything. Or will it?
I don't know. You're not sharing your screen, so I can't.
I know. Yeah. I wanted to like see myself before I. All right, we're back. Okay. You guys can see it now.
Yes.
Got it. So this was my Excel spreadsheet. And it was pretty much the same thing, but it was an Excel equation. So purchase price, this is a house I actually did buy. This is an interest rate I actually did have. Crazy that in February of 2022, we were, at this. Don't cry, everybody. This is what I estimated for renovations, repairs. So again, it was the same thing, same exact equation, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, number of common spaces, cost per bedroom, cost per bathroom, cost per common space. We actually could use this. We could do I guess I didn't even allow for a way to calculate it with square footage, which now we can toggle. And Sarah, I think Sarah honestly told me she does square foot, and I was like, oh, do all designers do that? And she said, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well then probably should have that be a thing. So thank you for that feedback. and we allow you to calculate the closing costs, either a percentage. And just like be honest, I used to sell this spreadsheet and people would buy it. So like this was about as good as a spreadsheet as I think as anybody had,
I bought
because yeah, Sarah bought it. So that's exactly. So, or you could do detailed. So again, all those things, that are in the other thing were also here. So, you could put in the origination. You guys get the point. It's pretty much the same thing, but a spreadsheet. However, it didn't, like if I were to just run this, none of these numbers would have been automatically populated. Like every single thing here would have literally had to be typed in. I would have had to, like, let's say I, were to want to get the revenue estimate, I would have to go on AirDNA on another screen. I'd have to put it in. Like each time, I couldn't just save defaults. I'd have to like make a new Excel spreadsheet to save a certain default, which is super unuser friendly. And then for this particular house, I guess I was calculating 77,106 as my revenue estimate. I will say that when I actually bought this house, and not to be a flex at all, AirDNA was telling me, I think 60,000 or yeah, something like that, like 58,000 for the house. I'm going to go to it now and I'm just going to run this same thing on BnBCalc and see what AirDNA thinks now. And they're going to think it because the house is actually there. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got it.
But yeah, so this is pretty much the same thing, just on a spreadsheet. But you look at all these things like, these are complicated equations. So BnBCalc, you can't, like, it's unbreakable. Like let's say I accidentally like put in an F there, like it doesn't know what it's doing. So if like I actually really tried to change things, you could break it. Like everything's interconnected. On BnBCalc, you can't break anything.
Yeah, that was the biggest win for me because I'm an art school grad, right? I'm not so familiar type of person. And so the first pro forma I ever got, it's like immediately I broke it. And so I had to go back to the person who I got it from and be like, how do I fix this? And so I had to save one that I never touched and then copied that over and over and over and over and over again, just so I wouldn't break it. And so having this specifically, like one, it's on my phone, but two, I can't screw it up.
Exactly. And I would say that it's mobile first. So I'm showing you guys on a computer, but it does look pretty. I'd say it probably arguably looks prettier on a phone. And that was because we designed it mobile first. Like that was our biggest priority. So honestly, I think I could show it to you guys what it would look like on your phone. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that same house that we actually did buy. This is also, I haven't actually looked back at our projections. But what I'm going to do here, take this share link. So this is a house we bought. I'm also going to show you guys what we turned this house into because, it's just kind of fun. A little bit of show and tell on multitude of things today. But bang, plugged in the house. It's actually a 4-bed, 3.5 bath, sleeps 12. Again, usually get that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing like a phone on my computer thing. So if it looks a little weird, sorry about that. Show earnings. And now it's saying AirDNA is saying 84. We'll probably do 90. And the only reason this number is really that different is because our house is there as a comp now. And our house should make about 100. So I'll just show you guys this actual investment and, just to see how it does. But I think this house is about 400-ish. I've re-projected it at a little bit under 100. So about here. So that's our revenue. And then our operating expenses, it's on a well. So we actually don't have water. Internet TV, we actually do get dish because this place is in the boondocks. And, because it's in the boondocks, you gotta guess, you can only have guests complain about internet so much. You just say, hey, watch the TV. Gas, I don't think it has gas. And I'll just keep other in there. We do pay $50 a month for garbage, and electric is a little bit higher. Maintenance, and I'm going to show you guys what this house looks like. I think that might be, would that be helpful?
Let's do it.
All right, you guys get to swag out my listings. Whoop. All right, so this is what we turned the house into. So it was brown before, now it's green. I asked Sarah what color and she said black, and I agreed with her. And then they told me if you do black, the house will literally melt, is what they told me. So this is the house. It's a mountain house. I think Sarah might be throwing up right now, but I thought we did a pretty good job here.
No, you did good. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and we were balling on a budget for sure. This was actually, if we see the couches, I don't like the photos as much. But it's really out in the cut, and it was hard to get a photographer out there. So what am I trying to show right now? Oh yeah, these couches were like in my like college dorm room. We just used the same couches. So we were very much balling on a budget. But lets me go down back to here. So I think the HOA is like $10. It's just like a gravel driveway that we pay with our neighbors. Maintenance and platform, all good there. Do you guys mind if I get out of this phone mode? Just tripping me out. All right. So yeah, we've got, I think, our mortgage and taxes again, not to make you guys cry here, but I think it was 3.29%. We actually got rid of, so it was 10% down. And in a year, we got it reappraised a year after we bought it. So we got it reappraised 2 months ago, and it appraised for 529. So it went up 100K in value. So we actually got rid of PMI. When you do that, you can get rid of PMI if you then have that much equity. So we're gonna get rid of it because it got rid, and bang, we're left with this annual cash flow right here.
A 64% cash on cash.
Actually, sorry, there's one thing I didn't change. We did renovate it. So let me change that. We did, furniture was about, I think, let me see what I estimated for furniture. So we estimated 50K in renovations, repairs, and 26.5 in furniture, which I think it ended up being about actually a little bit less because we waited on some of the renovations until like after it had been rented. But let's get into this used square footage, 1855. Let's get this to like 25,000. Right now it's at 19,000, but we're gonna get it a little higher. We're gonna go 13. All right, so we've got that. So now that's gonna go down. All right, 35% cash on cash. Still the same cash flow, but our initial investment was more. So our cash on cash is now at 35.15%. Our return on equity, our return on investment, I'm going to include, again, it went up 100K in a year. Here it's, we just have it at a 1-to-1 ratio, but inclusive of that, it was, and then keep into a fact, it was an additional 50 grand, which we don't really allow you to like, it's like how, like if we were going to say, oh, you can put in 50K in renovations and then say it's going to make the house go up 200K, like that would be a little bit overcomplicated. If you're really doing that in depth of an analysis where you're like doing a home flip plus an Airbnb thing, like you should probably at that point, kind of do your own model for those in that case. But just on a 1-to-1 ratio, we had a pretty, 108% ROI in 1 year, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. And I think too, when we use BnBCalc, it really is for like most commonly a quick glance at something. Like we most commonly use it when we're, tossed a deal or somebody sends us something in our DMs or we want to take a look at a property in under 5 minutes. This is what we use before we dig into AirDNA, before we get on Airbnb, before we look at what the comps are doing and really understand, whether people are on a lake or off the lake or have a pool or have a hot tub or have professional photography or whatever it is. This tool is a thing that we say, okay, let's take a 3-second glance. And if it looks like it would be profitable at all, and we are interested in the area, then we will start doing a deeper dive. But before we had to like sit down, open up Excel, type in all of these metrics, and then see if it was profitable. And so it would take you 20 to 30 minutes if you were sitting in front of a computer to even see if it had, profit potential. Now we can look at it in like 3 seconds flat and then do a deeper dive, which has saved us a ton of time.
Exactly. Yeah, I consider, like, even personally, I would say it's like a back of the napkin. Whereas before there wasn't a napkin like to use. So yeah, even for me, when I like do a house, because again, I take into consideration at this point, like, what are the tax benefits too, which I didn't care about that 2 years ago, because like for me, it wasn't like I wasn't, making money. So the tax benefits was not important. Now it's like that tax component, and I don't even have it here. Like, that's something I would calculate on a spreadsheet somewhere else, but I wouldn't even care to look at that. Like, that wouldn't even be something I would care about, and unless I'd actually just done the back of the napkin first and said, wow, this makes it worth my while.
Yeah, I have one additional question before we open it up to Q&A for everyone else. If you guys have questions, there's a spot when you're running an analysis that says like connect to our preferred lender. Does that lender work in all 50 states or in Canada, or like or do they offer a multitude of products like DSCR loans, or how, what lender did you choose and how
Did you meet Brian at STR Wealth?
Yes.
It's Brian Bockel. He's just a good dude. He's a good dude. I really like him. He gives the best rates on second home loans. Like, legitimately, I don't know how he does it, but he does give literally the best rates on second home loans. And yeah, if you want to do another loan program, he can refer you to someone else. But yeah, it connects you to this guy named Brian Bockel, who will, he'll send you over something to get like pre-qualified and, have a phone call with you and see how he can help you out.
Beautiful. That's super helpful as well. I feel like that's something that we never mention on BnBCalc when we advertise it or talk about it, but that's a huge help, especially for people just getting into short-term rentals, because a lot of times the lenders are different than primary home loan lenders.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, you have to be thoughtful about what you say to the different guys. And, we know that's an important part of the process. So we wanted to make sure, like, if we're going to connect you guys or connect our users with someone who can actually help them. And, we just know he's a guy who he owns 4 Airbnbs himself and is super, super great.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting quite a few comments in here that say that they want to be connected with Brian. I can grab his info from you afterward, and we'll be emailing you guys this recording after we're all done. So we can include his information in there for you guys, but also on BnBCalc. If you have a BnBCalc membership, there's like 6 advertisements.
Yeah, honestly, it's too many. It says, get BnBCalc and then go through there, because then also, then it just gets popped up to him, and he knows where you came from and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or happy to also, give his email or number or whatever later.
Does he have an Instagram?
I don't think he does.
Okay, I was gonna say I can add his Instagram so people can connect with him there, but we'll email it to you guys afterwards so that you have that available to you. But I will say also, lenders, it's a matter of calling around. I mean, Brian will be able to connect you with the right person as well. So if you start with him, it's a great start. He might be the solution to your problem, or he might have a connection that will be the solution to your problem. But what we found too is sometimes local lenders are the best in certain case scenarios. So don't skip them. It really is kind of a game of hunting and pecking when it comes to lending. So talking to multiple people is always to your advantage.
Exactly. I definitely echo that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, then let's have a few minutes here of Q&A. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question, or throw it in the chat if you guys have questions. You answered all of my questions, so I don't have any follow-up questions for you, but this was super helpful for me as well. So thank you for going through everything.
No problem.
Do any of you guys have any questions for Jeremy? I'm going to open up the chat here as well. So if you want to throw it in the chat, feel free, or take yourself off mute. As people are kind of getting their questions ready, if you guys have any, I have one more. Where do you see BnBCalc going? Are there other features that you're looking to add to it, or is it kind of built out in the way that you want? Like, what does your trajectory for this look like?
Yeah, totally. Great question. So the way we saw it is, this is like the simplest and most needed use case. So we're gonna first try to make it as good as possible. And then eventually we're gonna try to broaden it. Or when I say broaden it, I really mean like think of who does this create the most value for, and how can we make a product for them that is like 10,000 times more valuable. So what we've actually found is there's a lot of realtors who use BnBCalc, and they use it to like send deals to their clients. So now we're making like a API slash like user interface. And actually, I'm gonna get an update on that right after we get off here, where a realtor or even a user, anyone could drop in 30 properties at the same time. So like we could have it connected from whatever system they use, and it can automatically feed in a bunch of properties, and pipe it out to all their investors. It's kind of like one of the things we're working on next. But really, like, we want to just make cool things for the next generation of STR investors. Like, this is the start. We're open. People have ideas for different things. We're ears. We just want to make cool software that can help people succeed. Obviously, there's always going to be a qualitative component to this, and definitely need folks like Sarah and Emily to kind of show you the things that you can't just find online. Like there's definitely a qualitative approach to everything. But really, like 20-30 years down the line, it would be cool to just have this be the start and just have a whole array of software that just does cool things, and they're helping people out all over the place.
Yeah. Maybe one day you can add a feature that's just like Zillow, where you type in like your metrics on something. Like for us, it's like waterfront, certain amount of bed, certain amount of bath in a certain area. And if you could set that up and have it connected to Zillow, where as properties came up, you also got a printout of like at first glance what the cash on cash is. That would be super useful as well. Okay, there's one question from someone in the chat. It says, I already had a free account, but now I have a coupon code and want to buy a year subscription. Should I use a new email address, or is there a way to still use the code? I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I would recommend. So if you're on the free trial, yeah, I would just put in a new email. I think I would just do a new email and then just do it there, and then cancel the trial. Or if you just end up paying, I would just do that. I think that would be the easiest way of doing it.
Yeah. And we have a discount code in the link in our bio on all of our socials for you guys if you are looking at signing up for your membership. And then for our mentees who are going through our mentorship currently, you guys get an even bigger discount. So that discount code has been handed out in our Discord for you guys. So you know where to find it. Well, Jeremy, this has been super helpful. Again, this class is recorded, so you guys will get the recording delivered to your inbox along with the contact info for the lender if you guys are looking to be connected with a lender. But he's also, advertised in BnBCalc if you already have a membership. We also will be posting this recording on YouTube afterwards. So even if you lose the recording, it'll be posted forevermore. But thank you guys for coming out, and thank you, Jeremy, for teaching us all things BnBCalc. We definitely needed this little refresher, and hopefully it kind of brings clarity for you guys around how we use it and why we use it with AirDNA and with Airbnb and not in lieu of. So thank you guys for coming, and thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you guys. Loved talking to you guys, and yeah, if I could ever be helpful with anything, and let me know. And again, Sarah, we'll talk soon, and thank you for having me here.
Yes, and if you guys don't follow Jeremy on socials or BnBCalc on socials, go ahead and do that. Jeremy's got a ton of educational content outside of BnBCalc as well. So his socials are just at Jeremy Werden. I'm sure if you guys found this on socials, I've had him tagged on every single one of these advertisements. So he's giving out tips and tricks all the time as well. But that is all we've got for you guys today. So go enjoy the rest of your days, and we will catch you next time.
Awesome. All right. Thanks again. Until next time.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye, Jeremy. Bye, guys. Do you have to stop the recording, or is
I don't know. I was like, is this like Riverside, where if I click the exit, it deletes everything?
Well, here, make me host again, and then I
yeah.
can work on stopping the recording.
Okay, how do I do that?
Go to participants and click on me and then click make host.
Participants. More. Aha. Beautiful. All righty.
All
Been a
right,
pleasure.
absolutely. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you.
Bye.